This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for August 3, 2023, PSOJ accused of hypocrisy after demanding Golding apologize for Buchanan's remarks. The People's National Party on Wednesday refused the private sector organization of Jamaica's request for a personal apology from PNP President Mark Golding over the crude remarks made by attorney-at-law Isaac Buchanan towards the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paul Llewellyn, during a recent YouTube program. The party deemed the PSOJ's request as misconceived and went on to list the actions taken by the party and Buchanan since the incident occurred. PNP President Mark Golding spoke with Mr. Buchanan the same night the comments were made. Mr. Buchanan resigned promptly from his position as chairman of the Human Rights Commission on the same night and issued a public apology. The PNP Women's Movement also publicly condemned Mr. Buchanan's statements, reaffirming the PNP's unwavering commitment to respect for women and the gender equity, the PNP said in a statement. The opposition party also stated that the PSOJ demanding such a personal apology from Golding is hypocritical, as the party believes the organization has not shown the same demands of Prime Minister and the governing Jamaica Labour Party leader Andrew Holness. At no time has the PSOJ asked Mr. Holness to apologize for the frequent outbursts and insults made by MP Everald Warmington to women, other parliamentarians, and the media. Perhaps the worst of all is the Prime Minister Holness inviting Mr. Osborne Ellis alias Peanut Dread to be his personal guest during his contribution to the budget debate in Parliament. Peanut Dread can be regarded as one of the worst exponents of cross and violent statements about women the PNP listed. It added the behavior of MP George Wright, who was caught on video using a stool to beat a woman, and Councillor David Brown, who has been the subject of multiple charges of physically abusing women and the elderly, have escaped the reprimand of the PSOJ. In fact, the PSOJ has remained silent on the daily disrespectful utterances made by its own private sector member, Kevin O'Brien Chang. The PNP added that it has stood for respect, dignity, and accountability, especially when it comes to issues concerning women's rights, and is committed to maintaining the high standards of decorum and conduct within the party and holding its members accountable for their actions. Man shot during attempted robbery at a gas station charged. The police have charged a 24-year-old groundsman in connection with the alleged attempted robbery of a female pump attendant at a gas station on Slap Road in St. Andrew. Colin Campbell, who was shot during an exchange with a security guard at the gas station, was charged with assault with intent to rob, unauthorized possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony after being released from hospital. The incident happened on the afternoon of Wednesday, June 14. The police reported that about 5:11 p.m., Campbell and his accomplice rode a motorcycle to a gas station on Slap Road where a gun was pointed at a female pump attendant and her properties demanded. The woman raised an alarm and a security guard on duty confronted the men. They both escaped in the area, leaving behind a weapon, according to the police. One of the culprits later showed up at hospital with gunshot wounds. He was later placed on the police guard. Upon his release, he was charged. His court date is being finalized. Man shot dead on church compound in Clarendon. The police are trying to establish the motive of the fatal shooting of a man on the compound of a church in Clarendon on Tuesday night. The incident occurred about 8:50 p.m. on the compound of the Denby Church of the Nazarene on Quarry Road in Woodside. The deceased is unidentified. It is reported that residents heard a gunfire in the community and called the police. The body of the victim was later found with multiple gunshot wounds in the churchyard. Several spent shells were found on the scene. JCF promises payment for most overtime claims this month. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has promised that the majority of outstanding overtime claims owed to rank-and-file members will be paid this month. There has been significant concern over the lack of overtime payment for rank and file members. The JCF says more than 8,000 members have benefited from overtime payments since the April 1 implementation of its workforce management solution, which streamlines overtime work management. It says $824 million has already been disbursed. This accounts for approximately 91% of the total claims for scheduled overtime work. The JCF says the remaining 9% of claims will be paid once the documentation verification for each claim has been completed. The JCF highlighted that during a WMS update to the High Command on the status of the system, it was revealed that there were a number of claims submitted for overtime in excess of 20 to 50 hours per week or 80 to 200 hours per month. This warranted further review and assessment by the administration and the Corporate Services Division. It says there were also questions concerning the justifications provided for some unscheduled overtime claims, resulting in further clarification being sought. Commanders were subsequently engaged and resensitized on the need for the requisite due diligence and the documentation of justifications for overtime to be provided and in a timely manner. Lawyer wants a judge in Corporal Rohan James' interdiction lawsuit removed. A request was made yesterday for Justice Caroline Tai to recuse herself from making any case management orders in the application brought by the chairman of the Jamaica Police Federation, Corporal Rohan James, who is seeking an injunction to stay his interdiction. Attorney at law Hugh Wildman, who is representing James in chambers at the Supreme Court, argued that there would be a conflict of interest if the judge dealt with the matter. The reason given was that the judge, when she was an attorney at the Attorney General's chambers, had represented James in a civil case when he was stationed at the Denham Town Police Station in Kingston. A ruling on the issue is to be made by the judge today. King's Counsel Peter Champagny, who is representing the respondent, Assistant Commissioner of Police Andrew Lewis, indicated to the judge that his client had no objection whatsoever for disciplinary hearings to be halted pending the outcome of the Judicial Review Court. Champagny said his firm instructions, however, were that they were not prepared for James to be reinstated at this stage. Wildman argued that James was seeking an order for an immediate return to his job. The judge said she will rule on all the issues today. James was sent off duties on July 26 based on comments he made at the funeral of a colleague. On July 15, he filed a lawsuit in the Supreme Court seeking to have the order for his interdiction quashed. The Commissioner of Police has directed that disciplinary action be taken against James at a court of inquiry. Assistant Commissioner of Police Andrew Lewis, who is in charge of administration in the constabulary force, is also being represented by attorneys at law Nico Pagan and Richard Lynch. The statement of the applicant at the funeral was made consequent on a meeting held virtually on July 12 between the Deputy Commissioner in charge of administration, Richard Stewart, and Assistant Commissioner of Police Andrew Lewis with members of the Central Committee of the Police Federation, in which the High Command spoke of a possible cap on the overtime payment to be made to the rank-and-file members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, James outlined in the court document. That statement by the High Command in the meeting runs contrary to the clear order of the court, which made no such cap on overtime payment, the document stated. James is contending in his claim that what he said at the funeral of Constable Damian Blair did not go beyond the bounds of propriety and falls squarely within Section 13(3)(b) of the Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, which guarantees the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and belief. The police commissioner ordered that James must be interdicted, and in the public interest, he should cease to perform duties in keeping with the police service regulations. James is to receive a 3/4 salary with immediate effect. It was reported that investigations were conducted into the matter, and the decision was taken that James should be interdicted. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.